Ewarabashi Khan Hoshalbum. This is an important day, and I want to confirm for you, all the viewers of Kurdistan, that the agreement is signed. Really announced that an agreement between International Oil and oil export in the country. We anticipate the oil exports will resume in the next 3 days. Maybe we'll see the on. This is what the companies I represent are waiting for. They will, but SOMO and are parties, but the companies will. For the agreements, the KRG is expected to have 230,000 barrels exported every day from the Iraq-Turkey pipeline, and the Kurdistan retain 50,000 for their local. The 100,000 will be between different oil companies. The will expect it one. The companies have been working with SOMO and KRG for this agreement. SOMO is the authority that will monitor and regulate all of the oil, and will has coordinated an agreement with a marketing company, Caggins. The three parties in the agreement are SOMO, the KRG, and International. Of course, there is also monitoring will happen from the Ministry of Oil. And the important is that to reach this agreement, there was outside Prime Minister Barzani, his Prime Minister Masroor Barzani. These agreements, because of leadership and the commitment to oil, both prime ministers, Prime Minister Barzani, did great work to coordinate their ministries, lead a groundbreaking, unique, historic agreement to resume. The United States provided a lot of encouragement and sometimes pressure to the government. This was a new agreement, and important, and America wants to ensure that Iraq has united Iraq to all people, is Iraq, and all people benefit from gas. This agreement is an interim agreement. It is a temporary agreement. In the time for this temporary, the will be compensated $16 per barrel. That compensation cost of oil production and transportation. But long term, we need to endure and agreements that and honor oil companies have with, and also the agreements need to respect the investment oil companies. The company $10 billion to grow oil industry in Kurdistan region, and after December 30th, we need to have long-term agreements that will provide the true cost of production and transportation. Our companies are ready to put oil in the pipeline to bring in more revenue to the government. And we will be working very closely with the Ministry of Natural Resources and SOMO to finalize the agreements in the weeks and months ahead. So, you said that there will be an independent consultant and will inform, the work will provide that leads to the compensation to companies based on the company's true cost of production and transportation. Those costs are different from different oil production blocks. And then internet will, then companies will be paid for the true cost of. That is a good question. The new agreements will come sometime before December 31st. The current agreement that was signed today will expire on December 31st. But there is an expectation that the companies and SOMO and KRG will work on new agreements and those agreements will be based on information that comes from the independent consultant. So we are in a good and cooperative place. We're happy that there are written agreements with signatures, and we will be working to ensure that the future long-term agreement respects the contracts and the sanctity of the contract, and also our companies are compensated in respect to their contracts and the investments that they have made. Well, our companies are excited. We're happy that the oil exports are resuming, and we know that this will lead to long-term agreements. And in the current agreement that has been signed by SOMO and Ministry of Natural Resources and the companies, there is a clear understanding that there will be long-term agreements that provide the true cost of production and transportation, and our companies will be paid. Let me describe something else. We have a new payment mechanism. There will be an account, what we call an escrow account, a bank account at an international bank. And at the international bank, the Iraqi Ministry of Finance will deposit, they will put $16 per barrel of oil into this international bank. The companies will withdraw the money out of the bank, and that will be used to cover the cost of transportation and production. This is important because there will not be any delays from politics or other issues, and the companies can have a good, predictable schedule of when they will receive their money, and there will be more transparency. Everybody in the government in Erbil and Baghdad will know how much money is going to the companies and how much money is going to the Iraqi Finance Ministry and how much money is going to KRG. Yes, there is full transparency, and when each entity makes a withdrawal from the, they have to have documents signed by the other two parties. So this provides transparency and predictability. This is a good thing, and we are happy that this escrow account was included in the agreement. The company is called Wood Mackenzie, and it is under contract from the Iraqi Ministry of Oil. We anticipate they will begin their work in the coming days, but the independent consultant is not under the control of the international oil company. We anticipate when the independent consultant reviews the paperwork and looks at the what we call metering system, the technical system that measures how much oil is leaving each production site, we think that the independent consultant will have an accurate representation of the true cost of oil production and the cost of oil transportation. And our companies will receive appropriate payment based on the calculation of the independent consultant beginning on the day of export resumption. Each company has a separate contract with the ARG. Each company signed to the tripartite agreement, and every company will operate within the rules of the tripartite agreement and their contracts with KRG. The companies that chose not to participate in the agreements have issued their own press releases. And it is important to remember that each company currently operating in Kurdistan region and future companies that may invest in Kurdistan region can enter different negotiations with the government as they choose. The companies will make decisions that they think works best for their operations and their commercial models, their own production and economic goals. APIKUR has 8 proud members. All of the members of APIKUR are committed to their investments in Kurdistan region, and they are all currently members of APIKUR. And maybe APIKUR will grow in the future years as more companies come to invest in Kurdistan's oil and gas industry. We have a set of procedures for new companies to request membership in APIKUR. And what is important is our number one priority at APIKUR is highlighting Kurdistan region as an attractive place for companies to invest in the oil and gas industry. And since 2005, international oil companies have helped grow this economy. You have seen construction of cities and roads that have all been built on the back of the oil industry in Kurdistan region. And there has been tremendous leadership from Prime Minister Barzani and other leaders in Kurdistan regional government before Prime Minister Barzani to welcome and create contracts with international oil companies. And we want to have future growth in the oil and gas industry in Kurdistan. Well, what's important is the oil from Kurdistan region of Iraq, as well as some oil that is coming from North Oil Company, is about 0.5% of the world's oil. And adding more oil production and volumes to the Mediterranean Sea is helpful for the global energy security. The markets may react to this announcement today from the prime ministers and from oil companies, and we think that all stakeholders will benefit. Most importantly, the people of Iraq will benefit. Now we are more likely to see salaries paid to civil servants. We are more likely to see other international companies be attracted to Iraq and Kurdistan region. And APIKUR and our member companies are proud to be at the centerpiece. We're proud to be right in the middle of what we know is that Prime Minister Soudani and Prime Minister Barzani have been able to work through issues to create cooperation and a commitment to getting the exports resumed. The central government in Baghdad has talked about the necessity of bringing in more money from oil, and they want to use that money to pay for salaries for civil servants at KRG. We believe this is a situation where everybody is a winner. Baghdad wins, Erbil wins, IOCs win, and most importantly, the people of Iraq win. The companies that I represent have more than 2,000 full-time employees in Kurdistan region, and 81% of those employees are locally hired people. I expect that the companies I represent will be ready for exports on Saturday at 6 in the morning. Moving to discussing natural gas. natural gas is a great resource, and natural gas needs to be produced more in the Kurdistan region and all of Iraq. And two APIKUR member companies have made significant plans to invest in the natural gas for Kurdistan region, and gas will solve the electricity problems that are happening throughout Iraq. There, there should be more electricity that is transported, that is sold between Kurdistan region and federal Iraq.